Have you ever wondered why Myanmar, a country rich with culture and resources, is in a perpetual state of political upheaval? It's a question that perplexes many, and the answer is far from simple. This land, steeped in history and filled with potential, is caught in a relentless cycle of conflict. The importance of understanding Myanmar's political situation cannot be overstated. It's a puzzle that spans decades and impacts millions. To unravel this mystery, we need to travel back in time and trace the roots of the conflict. The year is 1962. A military coup marks the beginning of a 5-decade-long military rule. The takeover was swift and decisive as the military swiftly seized control of the country. In the blink of an eye, Myanmar, then known as Burma, found itself under the iron fist of a military junta that would rule for the next 50 years. The military junta established a socialist government, the Burma Socialist Program Party, with the ostensible goal of creating a socialist utopia. However, the reality was far from this idyllic vision. The country was plunged into economic stagnation and isolation as the junta nationalized industries and severed ties with the outside world. During this period, the military rule was marked by widespread human rights abuses, including suppression of political dissent, forced labor, and ethnic cleansing. The junta ruled with an iron fist, showing little tolerance for any form of opposition. Political dissenters were imprisoned, often without trial. Fast forward to 2007, the streets of Myanmar were painted in saffron. A sea of maroon and orange robes, an uprising led by the most respected figures in the country, the Buddhist monks. This peaceful protest was soon to be known as the Saffron Revolution, a landmark event in Myanmar's struggle for democracy. The Saffron Revolution began in response to a sudden and unannounced rise in fuel prices by the military regime. Such an act was a direct hit to the already struggling people of Myanmar, pushing the monks to step forward and voice their discontent. The monks, who are revered in the country, turned their alms bowls upside down, a potent symbol of defiance in the Buddhist tradition. As the peaceful protests swelled, the world watched in awe as the monks bravely stood against the oppressive regime. But this did not go without retaliation. The military responded with a severe crackdown on the protesters, deploying brutal force and harsh measures to suppress the uprising. Hundreds were arrested, and countless others were reported missing, their fates unknown. Yet the Saffron Revolution did not end in vain. It sparked a global outcry as nations around the world condemned the brutal actions of the military regime. The revolution, though suppressed, had made its mark. It had exposed the brutalities of the military regime to the world, igniting a global conversation about human rights and democracy in Myanmar. The Saffron Revolution, though suppressed, sparked a global outcry, marking a significant turning point. The year 2010 promised a new dawn with the advent of a quasi-democratic government. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in Myanmar's political history, a stark contrast to the military rule that had dominated for nearly half a century. This new era was characterized by the promise of political freedom, economic reform, and a hope for lasting peace. The transition towards democracy was a gradual and complex process. It required a delicate balance of power and a significant shift in the political landscape. The military junta loosened its iron grip, allowing for the establishment of a civilian government. Although the military still held significant power, the emergence of this quasi-democracy opened the door for broader political participation. One of the most significant milestones in this transition was the release of Aung San Suu Kyi in November of 2010. A symbol of resistance against military rule, Suu Kyi had spent 15 of the previous 21 years under house arrest. Her release marked a pivotal moment, signaling the military's willingness to embrace change. Following her release, Suu Kyi's party, the National League for Democracy, participated in the subsequent elections, marking yet another significant step towards democracy. In the 2015 general elections, the National League for Democracy won by a landslide, and Suu Kyi became the country's de facto leader. This was the first openly contested election in Myanmar in 25 years, and it was a momentous occasion, a beacon of hope for the people of Myanmar. However, the path towards democracy was fraught with challenges. Despite the significant strides made, the military's grip on power remained strong. The constitution ensured that the military retained a quarter of the seats in parliament, giving them veto power over any constitutional changes. The dawn of democracy, however, was short-lived. The democratic experiment in Myanmar faced numerous obstacles, and the journey towards a fully democratic society remained a steep uphill climb. But the seeds of democracy were sown, and the people of Myanmar had tasted the promise of a freer future. In a shocking turn of events, the military staged a coup in February 2021. Myanmar, a country that was just beginning to taste the fruits of democracy, was once again thrown into the jaws of military rule. The coup was swift and unexpected. Aung San Suu Kyi, the de facto leader of Myanmar and a beacon of hope for many, was detained alongside other prominent members of her party. The military justified their actions by alleging voter fraud in the 2020 general elections, a claim that was widely dismissed by the international community. Yet the coup was only the beginning. In the wake of the military's power grab, the people of Myanmar refused to be silenced. A civil war ensued, with people from all walks of life taking to the streets to protest against the military rule. They faced brutal crackdowns, but their spirit remained unbroken. The world watched in horror as the violence escalated, leading to countless casualties and immense suffering. The international response was a mix of condemnation and concern. Nations across the globe expressed their disapproval of the coup, with many imposing sanctions on the military-led government. International bodies such as the United Nations called for the immediate release of Aung San Suu Kyi and the restoration of democracy. However, the military remained defiant, brushing off the international pressure. The implications of the coup are far-reaching. The political instability has severely impacted Myanmar's economy, leading to a humanitarian crisis. The civil war has also escalated tensions in the region, with neighboring countries fearing a spillover of the conflict. In the midst of this turmoil, the people of Myanmar continue their fight for democracy. Their resilience and courage are a testament to their unwavering belief in a democratic future for their country. Yet the road to democracy is fraught with challenges. The 2021 coup has plunged the nation back into chaos, with the future looking uncertain. As the struggle for power continues, the world watches and waits, hoping for a peaceful resolution that will restore democracy to Myanmar. Today, Myanmar stands at a critical juncture, with its political future hanging in the balance. The ongoing civil war, sparked by the military coup of 2021, continues to cause turmoil and distress. The conflict has not only led to devastating loss of life and property, but also a deepening political crisis that threatens to derail the country's path towards democracy. The military's relentless pursuit of power has led to widespread violations of human rights, with reports of arbitrary arrests, extrajudicial killings, and the displacement of thousands of civilians. The international community watches in horror, grappling with the question of how to respond effectively. Yet, amidst the chaos, there are glimmers of resilience. The civil disobedience movement, a non-violent resistance campaign, continues to challenge the military's authority at every turn. From silent protests to work stoppages, the people of Myanmar are making their voices heard, refusing to accept the military's reign quietly. The implications of this struggle are far-reaching. The outcome of this conflict will not only shape the political landscape of Myanmar, but could also set a precedent for other nations grappling with similar issues. If the military's actions go unchecked, it could embolden other regimes to resort to similar tactics, undermining global efforts to promote democracy and human rights. Yet, there's a flip side to this coin. If the people of Myanmar succeed in their struggle for democracy, it could serve as a beacon of hope for oppressed societies worldwide. Their fight could inspire others to stand against autocratic regimes and affirm the power of collective will. The international community has a role to play in this. By supporting diplomatic efforts, imposing sanctions, and providing humanitarian aid, the world can stand in solidarity with the people of Myanmar and help them navigate these challenging times. As we look towards the future, the question remains, can Myanmar overcome its tumultuous past and chart a path towards peace and democracy? The answer to this question may not be clear now, but the resilience of the Myanmar people gives us reason to hope. For in their struggle we see a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity.